Yeah. Well, we're live now, and happy Easter to you and everybody in chat, which we got Gary and Sharon, and we got Mr. Joe Pass, the Sqauchin Cowboy. Was scheduled for 3 o'clock, but he said we could do it now, so here we go.
Uh-oh.
So what you got new going on, Joe?
You're breaking up on me.
I say, what you got new going on?
Nothing right now, but here next few weeks, I'm going back out to do a kind of documentary type piece down at David Crockett National Forest.
I wish I could get out and do
Spend a
like
couple
you
of
do.
days doing
I
that.
got where I can't do a whole lot of walking, so I can't go doing that hiking stuff.
Well, right now, I got my knee down here in a brace because the arthritis is so bad, and then I have to have a brace on it to walk. So I'm
Well,
not out of the woods. I'm not all that good. My arthritis is terrible.
yeah. Well, I want to go back to the original questions that everybody asked. How'd you get started in this?
Well, like I said, I probably everybody that chat's already heard this, but you know, I didn't see the Patterson Gillen film till I was about 1974. So I was like 13 or 14, something like that. And
Yeah.
I was really intrigued by it. And I said, oh, there's just one monster up there, up in Northern California. I thought there was just one. And then
Yeah.
a couple of years later, I think it was, Legend of Bugger Creek came out. And I said, wow, there's two of them. One's in Arkansas, my next door neighbor,
Yeah.
And so, that kind of sparked I always started believing it, then, but I really didn't think much about it, we used to camp a lot and stuff, but I was never really into the Bigfoot thing. And then one day, my buddy Kenny and I were out fishing, and we was back up in this creek fishing, and I heard a big old loud noise like a tree. Now I say it's a, a tree knock, Back then, I didn't know nothing about a tree knock, I
Yeah.
said, that place like a Bigfoot right there. My buddy King says, you believe in Bigfoot? And I said, well, of course, don't you? I said, they got videos of them, And he goes, I don't know. He said, I'm on the fence about it. He really didn't think one way or the other about it. And I said, well, we should go try to see if we can find one and video it. So that's what really started it. And we came back, Kenny always wears his cowboy hat, and I always wear mine too. And my wife, we came back from the first time we went out was in Honobia, Oklahoma. People say it's Honobia, but the Indian pronunciation is Honobia. It's spelled Honobia, but it's pronounced Honobia. Anyway, we was out there for 6 days. We didn't know what the heck we was doing. We was just basically camping, walking around looking for. I didn't know what to listen for, what to look for, nothing. But had a great time. And like I said, we came back, and my wife seen us, and she goes, "Oh, the Sqauchin Cowboys, boys." And Kenny goes, "No, no." He said that sounds too much like some Brokeback Mountain stuff. So, so I thought it was kind of cool. So I just kept watching Cowboy thing, and here I am. I mean, the first time I went out, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I still learning today, matter of fact, and I've been doing
Yeah.
this for, I don't know, 6, 7 years. I learn something all the time, but I've learned how to pay attention to more of what's out in the woods than I used to. When I go
You know,
camping before, we just go out there and drink beer and cook steaks on the grill,
yeah. It's strange how, in all the years, I'm 64, in all the years I've been out in the woods, I never heard no knocks, no howls, no nothing. Didn't notice any tree structures. And then all of a sudden, here I find 2 tracks in my driveway. A couple of years later, I post them on a Bigfoot group, say, "What do you think these are?" And then here I am. I finally heard my first howl last year. I've not seen
Well,
nothing yet.
first place I found, I haven't seen one yet either, but I have found tracks and I've heard stuff that it couldn't have been done by a person. And I got a little checklist that I check off. Say, could it have been this? Could it have been this? Could it have been this? And if I check all those off, I'm like, what else could do that? What else could leave a 14-inch footprint in the mud back in the briars and poison ivy and poison oak and copperheads and water moskins and timber rattlers? Nobody's going to hoax nothing back in there. They're not going to do that. If somebody's going to hoax something, they're going to do it where everybody goes.
Yeah. Don't make a whole lot of sense getting way out there, risk getting bit by a snake or attacked by something else, whether you're hunting. Anyhow, yeah.
Well, there's no reason for them to go out there because a lot of people, when I went out there at this place, I found my first print out there. Well, my first big print. The river had overflowed and went back down. I was walking like ankle deep of mud back in there when I found this thing. And there's just no reason for anybody else to be out there. I just thought that woods looked kind of interesting. And I'm like, if I'm going to find a track, my God's going to be out there because it's all muddy, it was all muddy. I said, I'm going out there. And sure enough, I found a track. I had some video. So
yeah,
it's
I've
not
seen
like
some videos. It's really cool. And I like where you ride down there in that field and go all the way around the field and get out in the brush a little bit. I enjoyed watching that one for sure.
Well, I think there's more sightings of Bigfoot in the daytime than there is at night anyway, because I think at night they could be right there, but you ain't going to ever see them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're curious what you're doing out there, and they'll just kind of walk. This is my opinion now. I just think they walk out to see what's going on, see what you're doing, and that's why I don't wear camo, is because I think the people that wear camo are hunting.
Yeah.
And I think a Bigfoot knows when he sees a hunter because a hunter has a rifle or a gun or something like that. So he'll stay away from them. But it's like this, he's going to say, I'm a bird watcher.
Yeah.
He's not here to harm me. He don't have no gun. But of course I carry my gun with me, but of course I would never shoot one unless he was attacking me or somebody, I'd probably shoot one. And then the people say, oh, well, I think you shoot them with a 45, my Ruger 1911. It's not going to kill one. I always say, I beg to differ. I said, 8 shots planted in a small area like this, I think would take one down of a 45 ACP with hollow points in it. But nobody knows. I mean, you can't sit there and say it's going to piss you off or piss a Bigfoot off unless they've shot one. And what did they do? They shot one, and run off, or what? Nobody knows. Can't say that. Nobody can say that. Nobody can say that. It just make them mad. I think it ain't too far off of being a human,
Yeah. I think
the ones down south, the ones south there, I think are a lot smaller than the ones up north. Because down here they don't need all that muscle and hair. If it's 120 degrees down here in the swamp, they don't need all that.
Yeah. But I think they're part human, if not more than that.
Yeah, I don't. And people say, "Oh, they're smarter than us." How do you know? I mean,
Well, the fact that they've been hiding for so long and nobody's seen them, that would tell something.
Well, some of the places they're in, I bet you I could hide in and nobody find.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, if I didn't want nobody to find me, I'm pretty sure I could hide without nobody finding me, except maybe Gary Spikes.
Gary will probably be there. That's for sure.
Gary. I know he'd probably be there.
Yeah.
So what you been up to?
Looking in the woods, you're probably going to run across them. That's Gary Spikes and Billy Shillings. Because every chance they get, they out camping somewhere.
I just wish Gary's son would be back in it. Gary Jr. I talk to him all the time, though. He's a good guy. Both of them are.
So what's been your scariest experience?
The scariest?
Yeah.
I guess I don't think it was, I'm not going to say I was scared. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's when King and I were in Oklahoma and we heard those 10 tree knocks. That was pretty, because that's the first time we ever heard anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I went out there. I don't know if you know the story or not, but we was out there, you know, on this guy's land. It's got 3,500 acres, which is quite a bit of land. He's got ranches all around him, so there's nobody actually living around his house. And I went out there. It was a kind of boring night. You know, I went out there and did a little howl and tried to get the coyotes going. You know, it's always fun to hear coyotes, I think. Yeah. And we heard the coyotes, and they calmed down. And about 10 minutes later, I hear a howl going like 75 yards across from us. There's a hill up across us from us. I hear this howl, and the coyotes start busting out. Me and King's like, what the heck was that, you know? And then it calmed down, and then maybe 10, 20 minutes later, we hear the tree knocks, and the rest of the night we stayed up till the sun came up with our pistols beside us because we didn't know what the hell that was. That's probably the most exciting place.
Well,
Oklahoma's always been.
What would have been your funniest experience?
What was that? You broke up on me.
What would be your funniest experience?
I guess we did the video of Bigfoot in between. Well, maybe in between. I don't know if you know where Hugo, Oklahoma is.
No.
But up above that is LaFleur County and the Coyote Wilderness. There's tons of Bigfoot sightings down there. And then down here in Paris, Texas, there's a bunch of sightings down here. So I said, well, what's in between the Coyote Wilderness and Paris, Texas? So we went up there to this Hugo Lake, and we was sitting there. Well, me and my wife went to bed, and I guess it's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We hear this. We say it sounded like a baby seal that had lost its mom. I mean, it's like it was crying, you know, baby seal crying.
Yeah.
And we got home the next day, and my wife April looked it up and found out that it was a mating call of a bobcat.
Yeah, bobcats,
so that was
foxes,
pretty funny.
And stuff like that, they make some weird sounds.
Foxes, foxes. You wouldn't think a small fox like that could make some of the noises they make.
Yeah.
But they can make, bobcats are crazy.
Yeah, I've heard both of them and coyotes too.
Yeah. Sometimes I hear coyotes, and then I hear something at a lower tone than what the coyotes do, just a little bit lower octave. I guess you say octave.
Yeah.
A little bit lower. And that's when I start really listening in, because I think Bigfoot and coyotes have something to do with one another. I don't know
Yeah.
if the coyotes, when they find something they're hunting, they'll start yipping like that. So maybe if they kill something, maybe Bigfoot knows they're going to kill something and comes in there and maybe steals their food or something. So, or maybe Bigfoot has one for a pet. I don't know.
Maybe. You I'm running out of questions here.
Well, just make something up. I'm game. Like I told Squatch America the other day, I said, when I come on, all scripts go out the window. We just talk about everything.
I know. Well,
look, you got pretty good crowd in there, looks like.
Yeah, I have some pretty good friends there in the chat, and I didn't get to say hello to everybody. And while I'm on here, I try not to deal with the chat too much because I'm total screw up. I'll be hit the wrong button or something. Well, give us a little more.
You're breaking up on me here. Is it my computer or yours?
It's probably mine.
Am I breaking up?
No. So tell us a little more about yourself.
Because my internet sucks too.
Yeah. So tell us a little more about yourself. Some of your recent outings.
Well, I was born in 1960. When I was 3 years old, I was in downtown Dallas the day that JFK got shot, but I don't remember that. My parents took me down to see the parade.
That night,
started rodeoing.
Firebombed.
When I was like, you what?
That night, our house got firebombed.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So we got a little
history
together.
Sorry.
We got a little history together there.
And I grew up riding horses, and the first, I know this is going to sound funny. I'm going to let everybody out there have their poke at me for this one right here. But when I was, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years old, somewhere around there, my parents had some sheep that they would let out there in the yard, like to mow the yard, basically.
Yeah.
And that's how I started riding horses. I rode a sheep. Okay, now everybody in chat, let me have it. I started out riding sheep.
Well, it beats walking.
You couldn't stay on the damn things though. And then I had to have me a horse after that. I got me a Shetland pony. I don't know if you ever rode a Shetland pony, but a Shetland pony is the roughest riding horse because they walk stiff-legged, and you can feel everything when you're riding. Anyway, I got on up into when I was a teenager, started rodeoing, and did that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or so, and realized there's got to be a better way to impress women than riding a 1,200-pound bull. Because I wasn't worth a darn. I was so big. I tried, bucking horses and stuff like that, and I wasn't no good at it. I did win my money back once. And then I got married and had kids and started coaching their little league games and coached my son all the way up till he got into high school and watched all his high school games. And after they got out of school and graduated, I said, well, I got more time to do this Bigfoot thing. Let's go look. Let's go see if we can't find us a Bigfoot. And I've been doing it ever since.
I'm going to throw
I love it. I love being out in the woods. I don't care if I see a Bigfoot or not. I just love being out in the woods. Seeing a Bigfoot's a bonus.
In the chat and see if anybody else wants to join us.
Come on in here. I bet you can't get sharing in here.
For me.
Well, Gary Spikes, I rode hogs too, and it's not easy to do either.
I've tried
My
that, but it didn't work.
ain't easy. Easy holding on to a hog. But
My uncle used
one of my
to,
aunts had a dairy farm out in Jacksonville, Texas, and we'd go out there and sneak out there and ride them calves. And my aunt didn't like us riding them calves, and she had a chair on the front porch that didn't have no seat to it. And when we got caught riding them calves, she would come up there and make us sit in that chair without no seat in it for an hour. That was painful.
I bet.
But back to Bigfoot, I've got on May the 9th, my wife and I are going down to David Crockett National Forest, and we're going to stay a few days down there. And I don't know if you know anything about David Crockett National Forest, but to the west of it is the Sam Houston National Forest, and then to the east of it is Angelina National Forest. Then to the east of that is the Big Thicket, and east of that is Sqauchin National Forest. So from I-45 all the way over to Louisiana is nothing but wild ass woods. So plenty of room for a Bigfoot to move around. And David Crockett National Forest is only, I think, 160,000 acres. It's not no big, huge place, but it's combined with all the rest of them, you know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room down there, and there's been a lot of sightings down there. And plus, we're going to go down to I'm going to show you all the filming locations of the movie that I was in, that I starred in, that I'm going to make it the biggest hit. I'm the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's called The Beast of Trinity, Texas. I'm going to take y'all down a trip there. I was an extra in the movie. I wasn't nothing. I had about maybe 5, 6, 7 seconds in the movie, but
Hey,
it was
that's
fun.
better than none, huh?
I had a cop. I had a cop put his gun in my chest and tell me to freeze and don't move and take my gun off of me. And that's my big movie debut.
I was an extra in the movie Six
That was
Pack
it.
with Kenny Rogers, and the only
Really?
scenes I could be seen in, I was so blurry you couldn't tell it was me.
Well, they got when they first started. I was in this taxidermy shop, and supposedly one of the employees right there was showing this wolf head, and the
Yeah.
camera's just like right here, facing right at the side of my head, you know, at the front door. And then the cops come busting in the front door, and they turn around and tell us to freeze, and I just jump back and hold my hands up. And that's when the cop puts the gun on my chest and says, "Freeze, don't move." So he took my gun away, and then the camera went on, followed them all the way around looking for this other guy. But then they come back, and they said, "Well, we want to get an action photo of coming in, like the camera coming through the front door and telling us to freeze." And Daryl Jones, the guy that played the deputy sheriff, is walking right beside the camera, and you can see his hand come out in front of the camera and pull that gun out of my holster. And they move on back to the rest of the building. So I was on there for, they should show my face pretty clearly on there.
Well, we
Big
got a
stuff.
question here from Hillary. Says, is Big Thicket as dangerous as they say it is?
I've never had any problems down there, but I've heard about it. I've heard about the same thing, that there's some angry Bigfoots down there. But like I said, I've never even seen a Bigfoot. So I've been down to Big Thicket, I ain't gonna say several times, a few times, and I've never had. It's just beautiful down there. I know that. There could be some dangers down there. Timber rattlers are known in that part of Texas. So if you're talking about dangerous snake-wise, yes. Timber rattlers, water moccasins, cottonmouth, whatever you want to call them, and copperheads are plentiful down in East Texas. So I call it Southeast Texas because it's south of me, but it's actually kind of reported as East Texas. But I'm east of Dallas, so I can say I'm in East Texas.
Yeah.
On the map, it says I'm in North Texas. By saying it's East Texas. But like I say, I've never had. I've had times where I've been scared out in the woods, and I felt like I shouldn't be there, and I need to get the heck out of there. There's been times like that, but I've never really been scared out there in the woods.
Well,
I don't know. Like I say, I've heard, but
how many states have you been to?
I've heard a lot of stories about it.
Yep.
I think 13 states.
That's a
I
lot.
want to go to more. I want to go Sqauchin in the Smoky Mountains. I think I might sneak over to that Yankee Spencer Jameson's guy. You know that guy named Spencer Jameson?
Spencer who?
The Woodwalkers.
Yeah,
that guy, that little short guy that puts white sauce on his barbecue.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I might sneak over there and see him.
He can't build a fire either.
Oh man! And then we're planning on going up to Ohio and maybe hook up with Bud and Angie, BF Bud and Angie, and let them show us around. I think I'm not sure it's Salt Fork National Forest. Is that what it's called? I think.
Yeah,
the grass man.
Yeah,
I think it's Salt Fork.
Yeah,
it sounds like it's Salt something.
Yeah,
but that's where we plan on going up there. And the next big trip we've got planned, we're probably going to go up in the Rockies because it's
well. Have you been down in Alabama much?
Yes, I've been down to Flat Rocks.
So you've seen some of his stuff then.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Flat Rock has the biggest collection of Bigfoot evidence of anybody I've ever heard of.
Yes, he does.
He has more stuff, audio, video, everything. If you don't believe in Bigfoot after watching Flat Rock stuff, there's no convincing you at all.
No.
But my wife became a true believer that Flat Rock's place because we all went to bed, and Joe Parker and Pat Harrison were over in another tent. It was my wife and I in this other tent. And I have no idea what time it was. I'm guessing about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3, something like that. My wife wakes me up and says, "Do you hear that?" And I hear it. It kind of sounded like, I'm not going to say it like, just like the Ohio call. If you've heard that, we heard that, but it lasted well, she woke me up. It was still going. She heard it. She woke me up. We hollered at Pat. Pat heard it. And she woke Joe Parker up, and Joe Parker, I can't remember if Joe Parker heard it or not, but it seemed like it lasted forever. And there's no way a person could have lasted that long hollering like that.
Yeah.
And my wife became a true believer that night at Flat Rock's place.
Tammy asked, do alligators get along with Bigfoot?
I don't know the answer to that, but I don't see why they wouldn't. I don't think a Bigfoot will get close to an alligator, though. But then again, I don't think an alligator get close to a Bigfoot because I don't know if Bigfoot meat is tough or what. I don't know if an alligator want to tackle a Bigfoot. Maybe a juvenile.
If he did, it'd probably be his last mistake.
Because I know there's alligators down in that part of town I'm talking about, down in, Davy Crockett and Angelina and Sam Houston and Big Thicket. There's alligators down there. They're still around, so I think they just might leave each other alone.
Well, we got a spot.
My honest opinion.
Mark Green's
I wouldn't want to mess with either one of them.
we have a place up here close to Mark's Greening's house where we go camping, and we've all had quite a bit of activity around our house and knocks. People's had stuff thrown at them. Some say they've seen something. I can't wait to get back down there and see what else I can experience. That was where I heard my first.
Have you been down to Flat Rock's place?
No, I have not. He has not invited me yet.
I think that we were the first ones to go down there and actually do a video of his place.
Yeah.
I think there were some other people down there, but they just came down there just to look. I think that we were the first ones. I don't even know if Flat Rock's in there in the chat is here or not. I don't know. I think we're the first ones to go down there and make a video. And we found we call it the killing field.
Yeah.
Which we found, we was out walking down by this creek, and we found, I think it was like 8 or 10 dead deer. I mean, they were just scattered all around in I'd say about 50 by 50 yard square. They were just laying around, and some of them were wrapped around a tree. Now, we put our 2 cents together in on this. A deer hunter is not going to come out there and leave them spread out like that. Now, I don't know. I'm not going to say this about all deer hunters, but I know around here, they come find a ditch down here like this, and they'll dump the dead body off into the creek and drive off. So they're not going to go out there and spread them deer out like that over like a 50 yard by 50 yard, about half a football size field. We found like 8 or 10 of these deer of them there that were wrapped around a tree. Like somebody grabbed them by the back feet and broke their back around the tree. That their spine was wrapped around the tree. So that was pretty interesting. I ain't never seen nothing like that. That was pretty.
I would think it being wrapped around a tree, though, they would probably have left the meat on it at that time.
Well, none of them had the meat on it. It was all just a skeleton. The skeletal remains of them, all of them. And then we found some heads up there that didn't have bodies to them, And I'm not a deer hunter, but Joe Parker and Flat Rock are, and they said that is not the way a deer hunter would leave a body, because I guess there was some of the legs were broken on the back or something, or and they said the back strap was like theirs. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a deer hunter, so I don't know. I don't want to say anything that.
Well, I'm just thinking that
make me look dumber than I already am.
if it had swung the deer and broke its back against the tree, it would have grabbed it up, eaten it, or hauled it off or something, instead of leaving it twisted around the tree. Which
like I said, we can't figure out how those bones got wrapped around the tree. That tree was, it's maybe about that big around or so.
Yeah.
And the bones were wrapped around. And Joe Parker found one track down there, because when we went down there, it was a lot of leaf clutter on the ground.
Yeah.
So you're not really going to find any good tracks. But Joe actually found a track down there, which was pretty neat. It was probably about 12 inches long, which is not a huge track, but nobody's going to be walking around barefooted out there where we were.
No.
But, Bud and Angie, they got that FLIR camera of something walking around out there at the tree. I thought that was pretty neat, too, at Flat Rock's place.
Yeah.
And Flat Rock's a cool dude, too, man.
He is.
He's a good old boy.
I love him, Patrick, and Billy and Gary, all them guys. I've got to.
Wednesday, they're going to get up there to Oklahoma and meet Gary.
Yeah, Gary, he probably, if you tell him you're going camping somewhere, he'll probably show up there.
He's been asking me to come up there several times, and I just haven't made it up there around where he's at. I mean, when I go to a friend of mine's place that has that 3,500 acres, I can't really sit there and invite somebody else to come up there with me, because
Yeah.
especially if he doesn't know him,
Yeah.
And that's my hot spot up there. He's a good old boy too, and he doesn't have any kids, and he lived about, I'm gonna say, a mile from where we heard the tree knocks, and we had his side by side up there at the camp, and he's got a bad hip, so he can't walk up there. His dad's like 80 something years old, and he goes to bed with the chickens. So he didn't come up there, and there's ranches. There was no. I remember one guy, it ticked me off. He goes, probably just somebody up there chopping wood. I said, who the hell's chopping wood at 2:00 in the morning at night? Yeah. There you go, Brown Springs. It should be called Crackhead Springs. No, I'm just kidding. Don't get mad, Gary. Because when I went to Brown Springs, I'll tell you this. When I went to Brown Springs, I didn't go back in there, way back in there like I should have. My truck had just broke down. My transmission was going out, and we was headed home from Wyoming. The wife and I, all those videos from Wyoming, we was going squatching up there, and we were coming back, and I said, "There's Brown Springs. I gotta go." She goes, "But the transmission's about to fall out of the damn truck." And I said, "I gotta go." We drove into Brown Springs and looked around for a little bit, and I found like needles and stuff like that where people, because there's a casino out towards the front where you go into Brown Springs. There's a casino back there. Drug dealers would go down in these woods down there and do their little party thing. And so I didn't go way back in there, Gary. So one of these days I got to get with you, and you can take me back up in there and show me where the Bigfoots are. I do believe it's a really good place. It looks like a really good place for a Bigfoot to be back in there, or big feet.
Well, is that casino the one I hear people talking about where the Bigfoots come to the dumpster?
I think that was a different one, but I've heard that this dumpster at that casino, they've had what they think was a Bigfoot coming down there. There's bears down there too, I think, black bears down in there. Because this is on the Red River, right between Texas and Oklahoma. I have to say Texas first because Texas is better than Oklahoma.
Okay.
Hook 'em horns. I'm trying to make Gary mad. Because there's a rivalry down here between Texas and Oklahoma. I love them both. I love Oklahoma.
He said that was
a beautiful.
That was Karchi was the casino.
No, Cart.
Yeah.
That was is that north of there, Gary?
And he said he moved his camp 4 miles back.
Yeah, I didn't go in there 4 miles. I maybe went a mile and a half back in there just looking around. Like I say, my transmission was going out. My transmission went out in Nebraska. It was on a Friday evening, and nobody was around Friday evening, northwest. And nobody was around to look at my transmission. And I was running out of money. I couldn't stay at a hotel. I had to get back. So from Nebraska to Oklahoma, it took us 17 hours to get back because I was going about 35, 45 maybe. Every now and then I get it to shift into third gear. Third gear. It missed second. It wouldn't go into second gear. And sometimes it'd jump over into third gear. And we drove all the way back from Nebraska. Yeah, I know that WinStar's. I know if you know what WinStar is, that's supposedly the world's biggest casino. That's pretty cool.
Well, I've not been to casinos, so I don't know much about them.
I always said casinos are the most fun I've had losing money.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's what the Border Casino. I think it's exit 1. That's where I went in, right behind that casino. And like I said, when I went back there, it was just the place we stopped. It was just people, which I'm not going to say it's just Brown Springs. They do it in Texas too. They do it every place I go. Somebody's going to dump some trash
Yeah.
somewhere. Some
Unfortunately,
idiot's going to dump some trash and screw everything up.
yeah, unfortunately, it's not just there. It's anywhere in the woods they'll dump trash.
Everywhere you go, somebody. I don't really piss the people off here. A lot of deer hunters do that because they sit up there in their tree stands and they drink a water bottle and just drop it down the ground.
Yeah.
And I know they do it because I've been by the tree stands and found the water bottles.
Yeah.
But that really makes me mad when people trash out places like that. I've got allergies real bad, and that's why I'm coughing and I can't breathe. And
Well,
the wind down here,
COPD, so I cough too.
it's just the wind is stirred up down here. We're supposed to be having all kinds of storms and junk like that around here. It's sunshine one minute, then it's cloudy as heck the next minute, and high winds. And can you hear my dog out there?
Yeah,
My daughter just got home. She's been gone for 3 days, and so the dogs are happy to see her. Happy to see her.
Yep.
Anyway, no, my next trip is going to be Davy Crockett National Forests. Be down there for a few days. That'll be the 9th of May. We're going down there. Stay down there a couple of days. Well, I should have the video out the week after that sometime, and hopefully I come back with a video of a Bigfoot. I have a good feeling about this one. I have a good feeling about it.
I thought we was friends on Facebook, but when I tried to send you the message, it said we wasn't friends.
Oh, I had my mic mute. I thought we was friends. My daughter can walk. That's why I muted the camera.
Yeah. Well, if you want to
fix that.
Go visit with her since she just got home, that'd be fine. We've been on here for 43 minutes. Give folks a good little show.
Anything else you want to ask? Hey, I got something. Joe, if I ever get Will. Oh, you get Will, Gary. Come on now.
Yeah, he's having.
You can take that person around. Yeah, he's been having it tough. I don't want to complain about nothing because Gary's got a lot tougher than me.
Yeah, he does. I'm just glad he got to the doctor in time to actually save him this last time.
Yeah, true. But I want to tell you, if
your shirt, I'll show you mine.
And people ask me all the time what that. People ask me what that Patty 352 is. If you know anything about the Patterson Gimlin film at all, frame 352 of the Patty film is where the Bigfoot turns and looks back at Roger and Bob. That's the frame where the Bigfoot looks back. Patty looks back. I'm selling these shirts too. I got some. I need to get rid of them too. I'll tell you what I'll do. For your shows, it's me being on your show right now. I'll sell these T-shirts, $15 a piece. but you got to pay shipping.
Okay.
2X left and 3X.
If anybody is interested in these shirts, how we get them to
them? You can go to my Facebook page, or you can email me at Riding Fences, RIDINFENCES 22 @yahoo.com. Riding Fences. There's no G in there. Just Riding Fences 22 @yahoo.com. And you give me your address and everything, and you can cash at me. I prefer PayPal because it's the easiest one I know how to work because I've been doing it so long. But
well,
$15 today if you buy one.
Facebook has that Facebook pay through Messenger with your email that they can send it to you.
Yeah, if you want to message me on Facebook, feel free. Give me your address. Like I said, I've got 2X and 3X. And today, just be on your show because I want to get rid of them. $15 plus shipping, and usually around the United States, it's just about $5 and some change. So $20, you have one of these T-shirts.
All right.
So, and also go check out my Patreon account. I got some videos on there that you probably haven't seen, and I'm working on a bloopers video.
Well, every one of my shows is a blooper.
But I'm gonna be trying to go over some of my old videos and just show stuff that I usually cut out of the video, like get stung by a bee or falling down on my butt, which I show a lot of that when I fall down because I fall down quite a bit when I'm out there.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, my knees ain't what they used to be.
Well, I
T-shirt, $15.
All right. Y'all be sure to go get them shirts from him. And I appreciate you coming on, Joe. It's been great talking with you. And we'll try and
and my Patreon account is the Sqauchin Cowboy too, if you want to go over there. It don't cost nothing to join, but if you want to become a member, it's like $5, which is 16 cents a day. Okay.
Okay. Well, like I say, we've been on here 47 minutes. We'll let you go visit with your daughter since she's been gone for so long. And y'all have a happy Easter and stay safe out there.
You too. Everybody in chat. Everybody in chat. I'll see y'all down the road. Thanks for having me on, Wendell.
Have a good. All right. Thank y'all for joining us. I'm sorry. I just didn't have the right questions today, but I enjoyed just having him on. And I've enjoyed seeing y'all in the chat. Hello, Hillary, Jean, Sandra, Roger, all of y'all, Gary. Let's see, who else have I missed? Yeah, looks like I haven't missed no. There's Patrick. I missed him. Tammy, Sharon. Okay. I think I got everybody covered now. All right. Thank y'all, folks. Glad to see y'all in here with us. And remember to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. That way, maybe I get some more viewers. Talk to y'all later. Thank you. Happy Easter.